What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Curated, a podcast about life and the melodies that make it all worthwhile. Welcome to the soundtrack of self-discovery. I am so happy that you've decided to join in today. Sometimes I feel like I talk too fast. Like, I'll be talking too fast, y'all. I did record this once already, and I thought it was shit. So if you're seeing this version of it, it's because I thought the other one was ass. And if you're seeing the other version of it, then I just got lazy to re-record this. So welcome to another episode. I'm glad you guys came back. I'm glad you are watching this. If you're new to this, welcome to my podcast. My name is Carlos. I'm 29, and I love to talk all things creativity, all things music, all things fashion. So that's what this podcast is really all about. I've missed you all. Okay, I've missed you all. I feel like at this point, every time I jump on a podcast to talk about some fucking excuse as to why I'm not consistently putting out shit, but I'm not even gonna talk about it, y'all. I'm not even gonna talk about it. I have been busy with other things in life, not enough to make up an excuse for me not doing this, if I'm being honest with y'all. So just disregard me there. Nonetheless, we're here. We're gonna talk about the Coachella lineup because I was not expecting this shit to come out this soon. But we're here to kiki and talk about this, okay? I have gone to the festival for the last 10 years. Usually the lineup is released early in the new year. Today is Thursday. They released it Wednesday, November 20th. On Tuesday, the 19th, or I think on that Wednesday itself, they posted this weird Instagram story of just palm trees. And I was like, okay, I don't know. You usually don't hear or don't see Coachella and their social media active at all until the festival comes around, after the festival, and then they kind of just, they don't do shit until the festival comes back around. So to see that, I was like, this is interesting. And then they came out with the lineup on the 20th. I was like, what the? First of all, y'all didn't give me enough time to get my Coachella predictions out here. I usually will do this, and if you have seen other episodes or heard of other episodes, you'll know that, I usually will do a predictions podcast episode where I talk about who I think is going to be at the lineup. I didn't have time for that. Also, let me pause real quick. If anybody's listening to the podcast episode on streaming services, know that you can also watch it. We have video out on YouTube, on social, on Spotify. So if you want to see my lovely face, go check that shit out. I have been moving throughout the different corners of my fucking room trying to figure out what a good vibe for the background is. Y'all let me know if a half of a window is cool to y'all or if we need to find something else. I'm just trying to build a good ambiance here for our conversations because sitting behind or in front of a white wall, it ain't it. Now let's get back to it, okay? The festival is usually, or the social media and the festival in general is usually not active until Coachella comes rolling around. I did some research, and I think the reason why the festival put out the lineup this early was because the headliners got leaked. Even still, it's interesting because I will say this: in past years, media outlets have made their predictions as to who's going to the festival. People will make their predictions as to who's going to the festival. Sure, maybe it gets leaked here and there, and maybe they are 100% correct on who gets out there. But the Coachella doesn't usually, budge into any of this. They will not release that. If anything, they usually will fucking wait until the very last minute to put that lineup out. And I get it. There's a lot more that goes behind the scenes that I'm not aware of. I do know that they work on billing these artists way in advance, so it could have been that this year they just had a solid foundation to who was going to show up at the festival, and they were like, fantastic, we can put it out there for people. Because in past years, I know that scheduling conflicts and people getting put out of the billing and then put in, all of that causes delays on the lineup being put out. But it was just weird. I was like, y'all, this is too soon. Relax. Give me some time to enjoy my holiday season here. But it's out. And let's just address the elephant in the room here. I feel indifferent about this lineup, y'all. I don't really care for it. I'll just say it, okay? I've been to the festival for the last 10 years. I've seen this festival go from what it was back when 2023, 2020, or sorry, 2013, 2014, when, I was first going to the festival as a senior in like high school, spent all my fucking money to just get into the festival for like 200 some dollars, if at most. I loved it, As the years have gone, like the festival has become my home, not only because, I go there often, but because I literally live in the Coachella Valley. I live about 10 minutes away. My parents live 10 minutes away from the festival venue. I was born like 2 blocks away from the Coachella Festival venue. I grew up in Indio. So Coachella truly is home. Truly is home for me. I love going to the festival. I love being back in Palm Springs, back in the desert. Like it's a vibe. But it has changed quite a lot. Um, I think for a while, Coachella had its momentum. Then kind of came like the resurgence of influencers, of social media outlets just being more prevalent in our lives, and streaming services just becoming a lot more uh, prominent in the industry. And the festival just started to become a lot more mainstream. Like, let's be honest, y'all. I think the 2 years after COVID happened, it was like everybody that you fucking saw on TikTok blow up was performing at Coachella. Um, and, you know, it has become like influencer Olympics, as a lot of people call it, because the vibes has just changed. Like it just played to mainstream. It played to people going and taking their pretty pictures, and I don't know. For me, culturally, just like it just hasn't been the same, and I don't fuck with it as much as I did in the past. I will still probably go. Like, let's be honest with y'all. Like, at this point, it's habitual. Like, I go to the festival just because it's a fucking habit. Um, but is this lineup worth the $400, $600 that you spend on that ticket? Hell no, it's not. Um, I think this year, to not talk too much shit about the billing itself, I think this year, one thing that Coachella has done right is that it has started to shift back to the roots of how it structurally used to be like. I think when I was going back in my day, Coachella used to have like a pop icon, a mainstream artist, and then like a, a rock, punk rock, electronic legend. Like that was usually the structure, right? Um, like it encaptured all genres. It invited all age groups. People went there and they were like, wow, this festival is all encompassing of genres, of uh, different eras of music. It was a vibe. It was a vibe to go there. And I think it was legendary, in my opinion, to like be at Coachella and for people to get booked at Coachella. Now it really has lost its vibe. It really has lost its flair. Like I don't know, y'all. I have a lot of thoughts about the way that it has changed over the years, and we can spend hours talking about that. But I think one thing that it did do right, at least this year, was it kind of went back to its roots a little bit, right? Structurally, it kind of went back because you have Lady Gaga, you have Green Day, Post Malone, and Travis Scott. But it was doing something. Did it get there? I don't think so, but it was doing something. Um, so let's talk about the headliners real quick, okay? So, like I said, I think most iconic headliner, in my opinion, is Green Day. This will be their first ever Coachella performance, and I mean their relevancy as like the pop punk pioneers is truly what I think excites me, and it's probably what's exciting a lot of millennials out there. Like, this is Green Day, y'all. It's fucking Green Day. Like, it's exciting. Um, a lot of media outlets were actually discussing whether Green Day was aligning with Coachella's general vibe. I think those media outlets were probably thinking about the last 5 years of Coachella and how the last 5, 6 years of Coachella have been. Because no, they're not a mainstream artist. They're not a TikTok sensation. They are a legendary pop punk band. And so, in my opinion, that's the thing that I appreciate about that specific billing is that it's fucking Green Day, y'all. Lady Gaga, she's returning after her 2017 performance as she kind of was replacing Beyonce. Um, so there is, a lot of speculation from people that she is hopefully going to bring an even more immersive, show, and I think people are excited about what she could bring, especially with the past couple of songs that she's put out through like her time performing as Harley Quinn and like this new era that she's entering, and obviously her past pop era. It'll be cool. I think Lady Gaga will be honestly a really cool performer to see. When I saw her back in 2017, for the little time that she had to prepare to show up at Coachella, she did a fantastic job. I enjoyed it. Post Malone, I'm sure as he returns or as he goes to the festival, he's going to return to those mainstream songs that he had because he's Post Malone. That's he's known for what we probably knew him a few years ago for. He's now leaning more country. I think, he has started to make a lot more country music, which is cool. I think that'll probably bring uh, a more diverse audience in that sense. Like, we'll probably see a lot more country people go to the festival, which is another thing, y'all. I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about um, Stagecoach, but I low-key fuck with Stagecoach. I feel like I would show up to Stagecoach. It looks more lit than Coachella has in the past few years, so who knows, y'all? I might pull up to that one instead. Now, Travis Scott. Truly, y'all, if y'all are listening to this podcast episode, go fucking watch it because I can't hide my emotions. You can probably sense for me how I feel about this lineup overall, but just fucking looking at me. Travis Scott, he, I think, had some past cancellations with Golden Voice and being on the billing at Coachella in like 2021 when he was doing Astroworld, and then like later on because of obviously what happened at his show and the horrendous things that happened at his show. I don't know. I don't know what to say about Travis Scott, y'all. I personally am indifferent. I'm sure all the sneakerheads and the hype beasts out there are thrilled that Travis Scott's gonna be there. I'm excited for them, but that's all I can say. um, I think to me, Coachella and the essence of Coachella, it truly lives in the artists that live below the headliners. Everybody, all the tiny name people, that's truly what makes Coachella for me. I think in past years, it's been one of the main reasons why I love going to the festival. It's because I get to catch, I get to watch, I get to discover new artistry. And that is truly like the epitome of what I think Coachella, right? It's the opportunity to catch all these indie artists who are going to pop off within like a year or two. And so I am excited to see, all these different um, artists and the diversity again of like these smaller artists at the festival that, is going to be fun to watch. I'm talking as if I'm going to the fucking festival, y'all. I did not buy tickets, so we'll see. But I think it's cool that like Charlie XCX is going to be there, even though she's not, an indie artist by any means. She's had a great year, and I'm sure bringing that like sweat tour vibes to Coachella, prime, best place to do that. Missy Elliott, icon. Megan Thee Stallion, that's gonna be fun, Shabuzi, like it. There are some people there that I think it's gonna be fun to watch them. They're performers, and I'm sure it's gonna be a really good time to watch them. But again, am I can I justify this lineup with the $500 $600 on that ticket? No, y'all, I cannot. I can't. Um, Maybe I'll pull up and try to get one of the scalpers to sell me a ticket or a wristband on one of the days, or maybe if I can find tickets for the Lolo, I'll go. But I, I don't think I'm down to spend that amount of money now. Come back and talk to me maybe next month. That might change, y'all. That might change. I tend to pull the trigger on things that sometimes I shouldn't. So, um, now I think media outlets did make the observation that the specific lineup had a lot of crossovers with other Golden Voice festivals, like Portola Fest, which is also put on by Golden Voice, which is actually put here in the Bay Area. There are a lot of similarities with the people that showed up at Portola Fest that are going to Coachella. That's the interesting part about this too. I think Coachella used to be the predecessor for festivals. If you went to Coachella, you probably do that. Every other festival that came after Coachella was gonna have some variation of the artistry in there. Like, to me, going to Coachella was like, this is the only festival that I gotta go to the year to catch everybody in other festivals. Now it seems like the other way around. Now it seems like these other festivals are going on, and then Coachella gets the compilation of all the artists from there, which is interesting. Um, I also think that, Golden Voice, again, like I mentioned, with the specific lineup, is going back in a sense to the roots of what Coachella used to be about, right? You have that dominance of pop still, but you are seeing the reassurance or the resurgence, English, resurgence of like punk rock, um, and like obviously electronic music is always popping off at Coachella. So it's interesting to see that. I think the role that Coachella plays in bringing like mainstream with niche and these like other genres has always been a tough balance, because that's probably the reason why some of us may not like a lineup one of the years and may like it another, right? It's because they may feed into our personal preferences and genres one year versus another, or what we ideally see as the structure of Coachella being like. But it's a tough role, and I understand that, to sit there and try to put this lineup together and try to be that pioneer in bringing all these different genres, fresh faces, niche artists, old school icons together is a tough thing to do. I think in the past years, they haven't done the best job at truly finding that energy. But again, yeah, that's just my opinion. Don't fucking come after me if you don't think that way. It's my opinion. Um, I truly want to know though how you all feel about this. Uh, I'm gonna end this podcast right here because that's all I have to say for now. After I do some digging, I may come back and chat with y'all about a change of heart. Maybe I fuck with it after I look, at all the tiny name people in there. There might be some artists that I'm like, hey, you know what? I actually have been following them on Spotify or listen to their songs. It'd be cool to catch them at Coachella. Things might change. Like I told y'all, at this point, I go to the festival because it's a fucking habit. So I'm not gonna deny that if you go, you're gonna have fun, and I might end up there too. But for now, I'm just not feeling it. Okay. I will say this. I will close off the festival by giving you all, if you are planning to go to the festival, some like quick tips and tricks as you're kind of planning to buy those tickets. I do have a full episode where I talk about all the tips and tricks, everything you need to know to make sure that you're having a blast at the festival. But these are just a few things to keep in mind as you're buying those tickets. One of them is make sure to get that Airbnb, y'all. Now that the festival lineup has come out, those Airbnbs, those hotels, they go and get booked up. Those motherfuckers who have their little nice houses in Palm Springs and Palm Desert are gonna rack those prices up. So get in early, because you don't want to be left with a janky ass fucking Airbnb or at a Motel 6. That's just not the vibes. I will also say this: Coachella is an ambiance. Coachella is a vibe. Coachella is a mood. If you go in there with the right intentions, meaning you go there, expecting just to have a good time, and you go in with the right people, you will have a fantastic time. Even though I'm out here kind of shitting on the lineup, trust me, y'all, like the festival is still a fucking vibe. And sure, you're gonna have your influencers, you're gonna have all the people who are just there to fucking fuck around and take pictures. But there's also gonna be the people who love music and who go to this festival because they enjoy the essence of what Coachella is. And if you go in there with the intention to, vibe with those people and have friends who are there to enjoy the music and have fun, then you will have fun. That's just it, y'all. That's what's gonna happen. Um, so I'll leave you all with that. That's kind of my closing thought here, because planning for Coachella is a bitch, and for most of the time, I personally don't do it. I think there was one year when someone let me plan for the festival. Everybody who I know who went to that year with me say that it was probably the worst year that they've gone to Coachella. Am I the one to blame? Most likely. But hey, y'all, I've never been a planner. That's just facts right there. Um, that's my other pro tip, y'all. Get yourself a good person who will plan this shit out correctly, because it's a fucking marathon, not a sprint to be going to the festival, y'all. It's crazy out there. Now, I'm gonna close this off by just asking you all to let me know, whether it be in the comments, whether it be over a voice memo, wherever. So hit me up on social media, send me a DM, wherever the fuck, y'all. Let me know how you feel about this lineup. I truly want to know. Like, maybe I'm just being a fucking hater, and maybe you all really do fuck with it. Like, what is it? What is getting you hyped about this festival? Where do you think the pitfalls are? What what do you think is happening to Coachella, y'all? I need to know. And if you are planning to go to the festival and you need tips and tricks, let's chat about it too, y'all. Like, hit me up in the DMs. I'm more than happy to give you all some tips and tricks. As a little bit of a veteran, having been to the festival, if you're a brand and want to send me to the festival, my DMs are wide open for that too. With that being said, y'all, I appreciate you all listening. I promise you all that we're gonna get back to a cadence. I say that every time, but trust me, y'all. Like, I need to get my shit together. We're gonna get in a good cadence of putting more episodes out. We have a bunch of really good guests coming on the podcast. I'm excited about it. We have, I think, 3 guests coming up pretty soon that are amazing creative people that I think y'all are really gonna find some insightful conversations from. I also have a bunch of really good topics that I want to discuss with y'all, so stick around. Stick around for the good shit. But for now, I appreciate y'all listening, and I will catch y'all on the next one.